So today we're going to add chlorine to our chlorine tank. Depending on your water system, we're on a well. Our water is pretty bad, and so we have kind of a big system here. So the water comes in, goes into this tank. It's the pressure tank. It provides the pressure through the house, and from there travels up and into this big tank, which also takes this chlorine, mixes it together, kills any bacteria or whatever in the water. From there, it comes out. Comes to this first black tank, which then scrubs the chlorine out so you don't get any of that chlorine taste or anything. Then the next one, it goes into a clarifier, which takes out some particles and whatnot. And from there, it goes into the water softener, which I have a dual tank. That way that one's cleaning while that one feeds it. And it's just a whole big system. We got the salt there too. My tank's pretty full, so I don't need to worry about that. And the reason I'm showing you this today is when I first bought the house, I had no idea what any of this stuff was, and they had to come out and show me what to do because, you know, obviously I had no idea. So you see two lines coming in here. This one's the water line. You turn that on, it'll start filling the tank. And this one here, it has a weight at the bottom, and then this little pump right here, when it turns on, this spins and it sucks the water from the tank into the hose here, which then runs up and goes into this top head part, and that's what feeds all the chlorine in there. And so for ours, it's a 12% chlorine, 1 quart. So it's written on here, it's basically 12% chlorine, and I just get pool shock because that works. And you take it over here, you can see it's 12%, and then I'll take and pour a quart of this in here. So to put the chlorine in, take this, you squeeze it a little bit, give it a spin, and that's off. So then take your chlorine, the cap off. It's the first time I've used this one, so it's got a thing on the top to seal it. Take that off, and then I'm just going to pour it in. So I'm roughly a quart, or it's a quarter of the gallon. So I just kind of go, and you just kind of tell by weight. I'm sure sometimes I get a lot more, and sometimes I, probably undershoot it, but as long as it's close, we're good. So with that in there, I come over here and I turn on this water, and that starts to fill up. That's been filling up for like a minute or so now. It's about halfway. Wait till it's full, turn it off. But I wanted to show you the chlorinator running. You just see down here this little piece inside there. It rotates, and that tube, it flexes the tube so that it pulls from here and goes in and then out through the other side. So that'll happen when the pressure gets low. As you can see, the pressure's high now because it filled back up. But when that got down to about 35, it kicked on and then filled up the pressure again. Alright, it's just about full, so once it hits that line, I'm going to come over here and turn off my valve. And so it's just over here, it's this little switch. Let's turn that off, put the lid on. And the chlorine tank is now full and ready to go. I have to do it about once a month, maybe a little less than that. Another thing, once a year, when the tank is pretty close to empty, I actually pour it out and I spray it out, because with the chlorine you get some like scale buildup on the bottom. And so you just want to clean that out because you don't want to get that in your system. It could ruin that pump. Now the other thing I like to do while I'm in here is this big chlorination tank, the water settles and it'll get rust and stuff in the bottom. So I have it hooked up to a hose, which runs to my sump pump. So I usually will turn this on and let it run just for 30 seconds or so, just to kind of clear out the bottom. So you get that water pushing down on the top, stirs it up, gets that rust out of there, and that way this thing's running good if you ever need to take it off. So with that, pretty easy task, pretty easy home maintenance. Once you do it, it's just that first time. Like I said, when I moved here, I didn't know what any of this stuff was, and so I had to bring them out to service it, and then they showed me how to do everything. So just to help you out, here's that video.